It is Friday, May 9th, or you're probably seeing this Saturday, May 10th. Either way, Deferred Collusion is back. It's me, Jesse Rowe, the king of Crespi and Sherman Oaks, joined as always by Brandon Bullinger, Lord Paramount of
Hey, yo.
Torrance, California. What's up, Brando? Welcome back. I know you're vibing right now.
I'm fired up, Jesse. It's been a long week. Daddy's been working. It was the anniversary. Had to get the gift, the card, the flowers. It's Mother's Day this Sunday, which, by the way, everybody, if you got a mom here, if you got a mom abroad, if you got a mom in heaven, just let her know you love her, dude. We love you moms all over the world. We love all moms. We love moms. U.S. What?
You're a huge fan of moms here. And before you continue, happy anniversary to you and Marina. Much love to you and your family. Beautiful, beautiful couple.
Thank you, Jess. As you will remember, at my wedding, Jesse was a guest. You see, we are real friends, not just acquaintances on a couple of screens.
We have actually spoken in person once or twice.
It's crazy. We've partied together after work. We have mental breakdowns together watching our Dodgers be eliminated from the playoffs. I also was at Jesse's wedding, saw him get married. It was a mitzvah, my friend.
It was a mitzvah. Mitzvah.
But this is Deferred Collusion. Jess, who's that over there? Has he got Michaela? Is she hollering at you, dude? You in trouble?
No. I was just pointing out because just by the way, guys, we are recording this as the Dodgers versus Diamondbacks Friday night game is taking place. Dodgers just took a 5-3 lead on an Andy Pages 2-run single. So I just wanted to make a quick note that that's where we're at. So we're not doing a post-game review, but I am keeping up with the game, and I will I'll update you as we go, and we'll give our reactions to it.
Hell yeah!
But we've got plenty of Dodger stuff to talk about today. Plenty of really good stories going on. But Brandon, there's a lot of talk about baseball gods. That when you play the game, that the baseball gods just they impact the game. Would you agree?
1,000%.
Well, now baseball is being directly affected by God himself.
Wow!
Because we've learned just yesterday that the newest Pope Leo XIV is a big-time Chicago White Sox fan, apparently. This guy's a big fan of baseball. There's video of him from 2005. He was actually at the Game 1 of the 2005 World Series between the White Sox and the Astros in the ninth inning, too. So he's not a fair-weather fan. Like, he showed up until the very end of that game. Close game, 5-3 game, and he was there in attendance. And so the question is this exactly what the White Sox needed to get back on track?
I think it's off to a good start, right? I mean, it might be a little early to say that the Sox are back. But hey, Southside, it makes a little sense why you won. What was it, 05?
Yeah. You had the Pope in attendance, dude. Yeah.
That's all it takes, right? Divine intervention. But hey, super cool. American Pope, America's pastime is baseball.
Yeah.
I think that means that God's favorite sport is baseball.
I think that's exactly what it means.
Pretty huge. Like, that's pretty big.
It is.
That's capital G big.
Wow. It is. The best part of this story, though, is that
going on.
There was a lot of debate online because obviously the Pope is from Chicago. His name is Robert Prevost. He's from Chicago. There was debate, though, about where his allegiance lied, whether or not he was a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan, because tons of people start putting out there that he's a Cubs fan. And my favorite part of the story is that his brother literally had to do an interview to make a statement and clear up, no. He's not a Cubs fan. Trust me. I promise you he's not a Cubs fan. He's a White Sox fan, which I don't know if that's something to be proud of right now, but it is funny nonetheless that they felt the need to clarify it.
I think that's the most like sports fan shit ever.
Yeah.
I shouldn't cuss. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think it is super funny and telling
quarter in the jar.
Fans like Jess, like if I ever became Pope, I know you're not my brother, but I would hope that you would come and have a press conference and assure the good people of Los Angeles that I was in fact a Dodgers fan and not some weirdo Anaheim Angels of Los
Right.
Angeles fan. Like, just get out of here, dude. And
Right,
by the
yeah.
way, just fucking use the Anaheim name. Artie Moreno's ruining baseball. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm talking.
No.
But we'll save that for later, dude.
And by the way, really quick, you know what? We know that God loves baseball. You know what God also wants? This is a terrible segue. He wants you to like, comment, and subscribe on this video.
Whoa, dude. He's
'Cause it
talking
really
to me.
helps with the algorithm.
He's telling me that you have a gaping hole in your heart and it
Yeah.
needs to be filled with the content of yours truly and here
That's
at
right.
Deferred Collusion. So please like, comment, subscribe. Pope is a baseball fan. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I hope. Do you
Sox
think
fan.
if the White Sox make the World Series, will we see? Just to put a bow on this, if the White Sox make the World Series in the next 4 or 5 years during his Pope tenure, will we see a Pope at a World Series game?
I think you're jumping the gun a little bit. I don't think we're quite there yet for the White Sox, but I do think we see his hand in motion already as the Colorado Rockies nosedive into a 6-31 record, leaving those lowly Chicago White Sox behind to elevate. And hey, don't forget those Los Angeles Angels suck and are right behind him. In the hunt for worst record in baseball.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is what the White Sox needed, to know that God is now on your side. You got the Pope in your corner. That's got to be motivating.
I've got to fire you up a little bit, right?
Dodgers take a 6-3 lead.
Huge,
just
huge. Needed that. And just for the record, the White Sox currently sit at 11-28. That is a 282 win percentage. But just to not be outdone, like I said, the Rockies are at 6-31. That is a 162.
Yeah, didn't Kyle Freeland to talk about the Rockies a little bit? Didn't he say something about he gave a little message to Rocky fans, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, man. So he was getting asked about the Rockies' tough start, and to put it mildly, right? Tough start, 6-31. That's a lot of tough flights, right? But anyways, was asked basically if he had a message for Denver sports fans, and he was fighting back tears. And I believe he's a local kid too, so I could be fake news in it, but I'm pretty sure he's a local guy. So he was choking back tears and was just saying like, stick with us, like we're gonna get through this more or less.
He says, keep believing in us, keep riding.
Keep riding. Yeah, I think I don't know, that's pretty generic sports talk, don't you think? But it is, I mean, what else can you really say? But Jess, it got me a little fucking annoyed, to be honest with you. Not because I don't love the passion exhibited by this pro. And Freeland, dude, I know I'm like a rival NL West fan of the Dodgers, but like as a human being, as a sports fan, I'm rooting for you, brother. He took a tough lick in that game. I think his ERA is around 6.4 for the season right now. I mean, it's tough for him as an individual. It's tough for the team. He made some comments, like what they're doing just isn't working. And I loved all of it, right? All the emotion, right? But this is what fucking pissed me off is where are all these ex-MLB players that had a huge problem with Roki, I don't know, maybe crying? Did anybody really see the tears, or is she just kind of squinting and whatever? But where's all the shit talkers that had a problem with, tears not being show? And you got to toughen up or you'll get out of the league real quick. You've seen it before. I don't know. I'm just fucking... Where you at, Haas? Like, where's your fucking cool take now, dude? I mean, I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm not trying to make it a race thing, dude. But is it because like,
I think there's an element of that. I think I mentioned this when we talked about the Hosmer and Lucroy comments on previous episode about Roki, that a lot of it was because it was Dodgers and the Dodgers are so good. And that like they needed to find a way for the Dodgers to take an L So it was like, oh, we're gonna pile on, but it's like you're piling on the wrong guy. You're piling on the one guy that's like not making much money on the team. He's on a rookie deal. It's not like he's Yamamoto who's getting paid a shitload of money. And yeah, like a white guy on the Rockies that nobody cares about was crying in an interview because they're terrible, and where Rokie's crying on the Dodgers who are great. Like, I'm sorry, these two things may not feel the same, but they're both coming from the same place. It's just young competitors who are struggling, and it's got to be hard to be in front of a microphone and talking to people when you're frustrated.
Totally.
And so
Look,
I
my whole
respect
point,
it. You're
Jesse,
right. We're never going to hear anybody shit talk. We're never going to hear Lucroy or Hosmer say anything about Freeland.
Yeah, and my whole point, Jesse, and I didn't need to start throwing out the F word. I'm trying to be a better man and not
fuck it,
my daughter, but fucking hey, dude. No, but I'm just like, dude, keep the same energy. Be steadfast in your take, right? Of like, what is manly, what is show. And, it obviously being, not tears, not emotion, not, frustration that you're at the highest level, not executing the way you wish you could, or your team for that matter, or not being able to do more for your team because they're struggling. It's a vicious cycle, right? And we talk about sports psyche, and, we don't even want to say the word yips around ball players, when a guy can't find the strikes. Or we talked about Gavin Lux the last couple of years, not being able to throw a routine out, or being able to make contact to save his life, and look what a change of scenery did in a World Series ring. We love you, Gav. World Series.
He's hitting like 300 right now. He's actually doing pretty well for the Reds.
I think we talked about that last episode. Yeah, like, boy, it would have been pretty sick to have him in left field. No disrespect, Michael Conforto with a negative 1.1 WAR.
But thankfully, Andy Pages has turned a corner, and he's having a nice little season. I appreciate your point about Roki, but I do have to turn the tables a little bit on Roki here, only because we want to talk about Yoshinobu Yamamoto's start yesterday, but right now as we speak, it's 8-3 Dodgers, so they have blown the game open a little bit, but it's been a little bit of a struggle these first two innings for Roki yet again. Gave up 2 home runs in the first inning, and he's given up 5 batted balls so far in 2 innings that are over 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity. And we've been seeing this consistently in his starts, where it seems like he's having his fastball's getting lit up, dude. It's not fooling anybody. It has a bad profile according to the analytics nerds out there. It just doesn't have a good profile to it. It doesn't have a good ride. It doesn't have good, rising action of any kind. It's very much on a hitter-friendly trajectory, and that's why his velocity is so important, because it allows him to get away with it a little bit more. But his velocity's been down. He's been throwing like 94, 95, 96, and this is a guy that you and I compared to Paul Skenes coming out of Japan, who could throw 99, 100 miles an hour, and so far we have not seen that. So I'm just curious where your concern is for Roki so far. He is a rookie, so we obviously know that he could turn a corner and that he's probably a 2 or 3 year plan anyway at this point. But where is your concern level for Roki right now?
Man, it's rising. So last year we talked about the worry-o-meter and where we were sitting on the team, and guys like Muncy and Conforto being at the top of the list of the position players. But right behind there was Roki. The worry isn't fear, fortunately, but it does seem like a guy who might need to spend some time developing in the minors, kind of like Hye-Seong Kim, or excuse me, Kim Hye-Seong, my boy.
That's right. We were correct. We were corrected on how to pronounce the name, and now we've been corrected on the order of the names to be said. So Kim Hye-Seong is apparently the correct way to say it.
In the streets of Seoul, South Korea, I do believe that is the preference. But hey, if please let us know. We love being educated on that.
Spell it out phonetically for us, though. We're not that smart. So just please,
I'm pretty smart.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Steel trap up here, Jess. Yeah. Love it or leave it, Jess. It is worrying, but there is still a lot of baseball to play. I guess it's worrying because we thought we were getting this guy who was going to be an immediate impact on the high end of expectations, and on the low end is like, all right, well, this is a young guy who's a phenom of talent in what is widely considered a lesser league than the MLB. I don't think that's disrespectful to say, but now we're kind of coming. You know, what is the hens are coming home to roost.
Yeah.
You got to have 3 pitches. You know, it's not enough just to have stuff. Look at Bobby Miller. You went from phenom to a little injury to can't find the strike zone to can't get it done. I mean, he's getting
Gave up 6 runs in his most recent rehab start, by the way.
Yeah, and that's just a guy I last year at the start of the season was suggesting was going to be a dark horse candidate for the Cy Young, and it's like, wow, that guy doesn't know ball. Oops, dude, talking about my Spencer.
You know who I have a perfect comp for what's happening to Bobby Miller right now.
Hit me with it, brother.
Alec Manoah. It's the same same exact thing, dude. They're going through the same shit.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That hurts because it rings so true, my lord.
Yeah.
Dude, you Manoah'd me. You Manoah, that's gonna haunt me the rest of the weekend. But
I still see
ball knower.
But I still see Sasaki having this like elite pitch in the splitter that I still think that he could find a way to figure this out and be good. But yeah, you're right. Like the 2-pitch thing, you know, he needs to have a third pitch that he can throw like 10% of the time to really change to just put a thought in the hitter's head. And it just seems like he doesn't have that yet. And he is very scared of throwing his fastball. I think it's just pretty obvious. He has no confidence in his fastball right now, and you can just see it when he's out there that he's, you know, that's a bad place to be as a young up and coming pitcher. So I don't hate your idea of, you know, sending him down. This team is built to win with or without him. You know, you don't need to impact his mental state this early on in his career. It's like get it right.
I think you said something right there that is important, and I think this is why they're not going to send him down, is I think we're talking about his mental state. You know what I mean? I think to keep a kid's confidence high, you know, a kid we're talking about seems like he's kind of searching for stuff right now. Maybe he doesn't have enough pitches right now. It seems like guys are just like, fuck it, if he can't throw the splitter for a strike or maybe I can't hit it, I'm not even going to try. I'm going to just wait for this fastball because he's really got nothing else working. I mean, it's not even that the fastball is working. I mean, it's just like...
I have an idea for what you can do for that. Fake injury. Fake an injury, and then you do a couple rehab starts just to get his confidence going in the minor leagues a little bit.
Well, I mean, maybe you do, but then again, the Dodgers would never manipulate service time like that, dude. They just wouldn't do it. They would never do it. Yeah. But Jeff, I got a question for you, and I have a 2 numbers for you, and I just want to know if you think Rockie, as of today, as of how he's pitching right now against the Diamondbacks, do you think he makes these marks for the season? Do you think Rockie will pass 22 appearances on the season? And if so, will he surpass 100 strikeouts? What do you think?
Okay, so as of right now, Rockie is on, this is start number 8 today. So you said 22?
Mm-hmm.
And you said how many innings?
I just said 22 starts, 100 Ks.
100 Ks. So right now he's at 24 through 30 innings. So, that's tough. I'm gonna say yes. I think Rockie will. I don't. Fuck. That's it. You said a good line there for me, Brandon. You threw my. No. I'm gonna say no because I do think that when Kershaw comes back, Glasnow comes back, Snell comes back, I think that's gonna start eating into Rockie's innings, especially because if they're running a 6-man rotation out there, I think it's gonna be tougher and tougher for Rockie to hit that mark. And I do think there's a chance that they're going to maybe like skip some starts, just to give him some extra rest. fake some injuries like they do, like the Dodgers love to do. I think that the odds are against him being able to hit that this year, to be honest.
I like your take, Jess, and here's why I bring those numbers up. Those were the rookie numbers all the way back in 2008 for one Clayton Kershaw, who had a 5-5 record that year with a 4.26. He appeared in 22 games, 21 of which were starts, and he pitched 2 innings in the 2008 NLCS. But he had 100 Ks that year. So what I'm getting at is even if that ERA is north of 4, if those other benchmarks, for lack of a better term, are met, I'm thinking maybe it just is a showcase to the raw talent that's available, and maybe we're getting a little too nitpicky with a rookie pitcher that isn't expected to be the ace of the staff.
Yeah.
He is probably still in a starting role because there is a need for arms right now with all the starting pitching injuries. But like you said, I do think the Dodgers are going to stick with a 6-pitcher rotation because their ace can't pitch on 5 days rest, apparently.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. We can get into that to a minute, but just to put the bow on the Roki package, it has been a disappointing start, but not necessarily unexpected. So I think overall still hyper excited about the talent, but just looking for a little sharper edge to the blade, But hey,
yeah,
one way to sharpen steel, baby. And that's with steel, big league pitching.
I want to end it with this because I actually think if you're talking about this season, I'm concerned, right? I don't think that he's going to be a huge, big time contributor for the pitching staff this season. But I will say this: getting Roki a full off season with the team, with the pitching staff, with the pitching guys, with the medical staff, everything, just getting a full off season with the Dodgers and being able to come into a spring training like with a full off season regimen, all that stuff, I think that's going to make a huge difference. I think we'll see a different Roki Sasaki next year because that came into this season. He signed with the Dodgers like 3 weeks before spring training started. It was he's still getting accustomed to MLB life. Give him an off season here.
Man.
So that, a little bit in this game, by the way. He said,
man. So, like we said, still a work in progress, but that does lead us to our other phenom from the island nation of Japan. Just about everybody's favorite Dodger right now. That is none other than Yoshinobu Yamamoto, or Yama as he likes it. So put some respect on my boy's name. Had his first clunker of the season, Jess, against those Serpantes, or the Diamondbacks, as they're called sometimes, or D-backs, or whatever.
Yeah.
But dude gave up a grand salami, first of his major league career, and then a Ketel Marte solo jack. But yeah, Jess, it was his first start on 5 days rest this season, and did the results speak for themselves?
Yeah, it's the first time he's ever pitched on 5 days rest. Or sorry, this year. Sorry, and obviously it was his worst start of the season by far. And one thing that I noticed about it, like from the very start of the game, you could just sort of sense that he just didn't have it. He wasn't like his pitches weren't sharp, his control wasn't all there. But through 3 innings, he was still scoreless, even though he wasn't pitching well. He was still like, oh, this is what an ace does. They find a way to get through it without their best stuff. He had a little bit of like a mental malfunction in that 4th inning because the first 2 runners got on, and then he had Eugenio Suarez down 0-2 in the count, right? With the first 2 runners on, and then he ends up hitting him because he threw like a backup split or slider or something, or cutter that ended up clipping his elbow pad. And that loaded the bases, right? And then that was it, because the next pitch went out for a grand slam. I think it was first pitch went out for a grand slam. Maybe not. I don't remember exactly, but whatever. but he was after that. After he gave up that grand slam, he threw a ton of pitches that inning. He kind of just like locked the fuck in. I know he gave up a home
I
run.
think he went 3 Ks after that.
Yeah, he just struck out the side, just locked in. I know he gave up the home run to Marte.
Pissed, bro. I'm telling you, he's got that fucking psycho pitcher's mentality,
But
dude.
I think that's why it was mental what happened that inning. It wasn't so much that he didn't have his stuff. I think it was because he started nibbling once they started getting guys on base. And then he gives up the grand slam. It's almost like sometimes for a pitcher, it's like a relief when it happens in a way because you're like, are you fucking kidding me? I just fucked up. All right, fuck it. Now I got to lock in. And then it's like it almost helps them just sort of reset a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think I think that's something that he is going to learn from and adjust because this guy has been not good. He has been supreme.
He's been the best in baseball, and Terrence Steele exists. Like, that's fucking, you know what I mean?
His ERA was under 1 to start the game yesterday. It's still under 2 right now. You know, so he's unbelievable, and it's just the big question is, do the Dodgers have to give him 6 days rest to be effective?
Let me speak on behalf of some Dodger fans that are a little frustrated that he's getting paid $325 million and isn't pitching 7 innings every 5 days.
Yeah,
I get that. I'm an old school head in that regard. You know, I love to see my big dog Ace just eating up a couple hundred innings. You know, I was there back, was it 2015? The last time Kershaw hit 300 Ks, you know, like, I just don't think pitchers are going to throw that much anymore. Like, to be honest, with as many arm injuries as we got, and for the amount of years on Yama's contract, he's only 25 still. Like, there's a lot of tread on that tire. And look, dude, we watched a young Kershaw get trotted out by Don Mattingly, you know, postseason after postseason after just carrying the team to the playoffs. And now we can't, you know, get a fucking healthy season out of them. My point is these guys break down. We talked about Glasnow's injury a couple episodes ago, and that there were a lot of moving parts to him. And when something feels out of sync for him, it's this cascade of overcorrections, and it's like a fine sports car, right? It's like a fucking race car, right? It's like if one little thing is like out of time or out of alignment, it fucks with this whole thing, and that can be the difference between disaster and fucking victory, right? Like, so when you're dealing with guys that are this talented, I think when your body is telling you something, it starts looming in your head when you're trying to be this alpha predator, you know, this apex predator on the mound.
Yeah.
And like you said, once you have that, you know, that little dose of reality, or as Mike Tyson was saying, you know, that everyone's got a plan until they're punched in the mouth. I think once you get punched in the mouth, like a fucking giving up your first grand slam, it wakes you up a little bit and the smelling salt kicks in.
Yeah. And I think it's only going to be like a good thing for him that happened. And you know, to the point about fans being upset with the amount of innings he throws. I mean, as of right now, he's pitched 45 innings in 8 starts. So he's averaging just like a little bit. He's averaging a little bit over 5 innings. He's basically just under 6, like, so 5 2/3 is basically what he's pitching right now. But like, if you extrapolate this, as of right now, the Dodgers have played 38 games, so we are like almost a quarter of the way through the season. So if like you multiply this number by 4, right? He's gonna probably pitch about 165 innings, you know, which isn't like amazing, but. You know, I think that's you ask for that before the season, 165, 170 innings, goes a full year without getting injured. I'll take that. You know, I think that in this day and age, I will take it because we know what kind of innings they're going to be.
Yeah,
right. We know that they're going to.
He gives you that 165 regular season innings. You got a 6-man rotation. It's like, oh, I don't need this one horse to ride so many miles. Like, I think it's a benefit, and you know. The caveat to that, of course, being the postseason. But, hey, we've seen these guys be able to bite down and, you know, get this done, you know, with two pitchers. Shouts
Yeah.
out Jack Flaherty. But Jess, back to my point about some fans being a little unhappy that he's not making enough starts. On a 5-day schedule, he's pitching 32 starts, right, without injury. But on a 6-game schedule, he's throwing 27. So that is like he missed, about a month or so. That's the equivalent. But like you were saying, if this is kind of the modern baseball approach and it keeps your guy healthy and available for October, Jess, I just got to ask, is this that big of a deal? Or are you on the side with Dodger fans that are saying, hey, we're paying this guy a boatload, get on that bump?
No, you look at what he was in the postseason last year when he against the Mets and then against the Yankees. I mean, he was Sasaki just gave up a double. Sorry, I'm just monitoring Sasaki's start here. He was so good in the World Series that I think that just so long as he's available for when October comes around, it kind of doesn't really matter to me. How whether it's 27 or 32. I think that the Dodgers have built a machine that is essentially built to withstand those starts because we're going to see like 15 to 17 different starting pitchers this year. It's just the way it's going to be. Like that's how it is every single season. And we just saw it the other day. Landon Knack had 5 really good innings in his recent game. We're going to see there was somebody else that I'm
great. Ben Kasparius has been great. He continues to be great. I guess there's some decisions if you're going to move him to be a starter or keep him in this kind of long man role. Jack Dreyer also has been great. But yeah, bad news. Trinan got moved to the 60-day IL, and then Evan Phillips got moved to the 10-day IL. Another bump.
Yeah. That's the thing that is more concerning for me than anything. It's not so much about Yamamoto not pitching enough. It's more so the impact that it has collectively as a whole on the bullpen, because we've already seen a pretty significant overtaxation. Exactly. I mean, the Dodgers bullpen, I think the last episode that we did at the time of recording, they were like 11-2 when pitching more than 5 innings, which is like, it's crazy, but it's also, wow, they've already pitched 13 games more than 5 innings, and we're only like 29 games into the season. That's not good. So the Dodgers have to, they're going to need somebody to eat some innings. I think Kershaw's going to help. He's going to go 5 or 6 innings, consistently when he's back.
He's fully stretched out. You know what I mean? Like, he's ready to go. Like,
so long as he's effective, right? Because otherwise,
exactly.
We have to hope.
Show some fucking respect.
Yeah.
My go-to.
Other injuries that we're going to have to move on because we are running a little long here. But we recorded before the Teoscar injury happened. He's down with a hammy, which is unfortunate.
Prayers up for Teo.
But a little bit of good news. Dave Roberts did say that he could be back sooner than expected, which is good. So we are seeing some James Outman, which obviously last year we were expecting him to be a big player for the Dodgers. Did not work out the way we had hoped, but he's hit the ball pretty hard in his first few games. So hopefully he can hold it down for Teo when he's back. Do you have any notes on Outman?
Yeah, I was stoked to see him get his first home run of the year in Miami. But yeah, I think this is going to look great in the eventual Paul Skenes trade. He's going to be bundled up in there. So
we're going to get to that. One point about Outman, he did hit a ball yesterday, like 410 feet, which would have been a home run at Dodger Stadium, into right center field at Chase Field in Arizona. That would have been a home run in 21 of 30 ballparks. So it is worth noting he should have 2 home runs right now. It was actually an out. Alec Thomas caught it out the wall. So that was pretty frustrating. But Tommy Edman injury, unfortunately, he won't return as quickly as expected, which is unfortunate. Apparently, his ankle is not responding as well as the Dodgers had hoped. So that is looking like we could be pushing end of May, early June, potentially, is where we're at right now. But that leaves the opening for one Kim Hye-Seong to step in, who has, I think he's looked very nice in his short, brief stint so far. Most impressively to me has been just his awesome base running. I mean, the dude's an awesome base runner, just a great fundamental player. He almost stole a game for the Dodgers. I think it was it in Florida, Miami, where he came in, I think, as the pinch runner, and then he stole a base, and then he advanced to third on a wild pitch strikeout. So
you can fly, man.
yeah, he got to second base with less than one out, with 0 outs, and then he like advanced to third. Somebody struck out. It was like a wild pitch, but it was right in front of the plate, and then so he was baiting the catcher, waiting for the catcher to throw it to first, and then he bolts to third, and he got to third with less than 2 outs, so they had a chance to tie the game.
Yeah.
They ended up not. So I just thought that was really cool, like really, really cool moment for him. So I love what I see so far.
He looks like a bullet out of a gun on the pace paths. I mean, he just explodes. He's a more physical like specimen than I thought. He looks great in that Dodger blue, dude. Let me tell you that. Chris,
he's a baby face though, dude. He looks so young.
These ain't babies, dude. Yeah. Those are big boys. But I saw a little bit of Shohei like trying to get him to run home. So he's fitting real well in with those.
The team really likes him. The team really likes him. You can tell.
Yeah, he's got a great smile, dude. I'm all about it. Give me my KBO stars. Let's go.
Sorry, I had his stats, but he's hitting .313 so far through 16, his first 16 at bats. So with two stolen bases, so he's making good contact. I think he is like a special bat to ball guy. I do think he has a very good special bat to ball skills. Might never have a lot of power, 10 to 15 homers maybe if we're lucky, but that's okay. I have a comp here. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this. When I look at him, I'm thinking that he could potentially be our version of Luis Arias. Wow. I know that it might be a little bit premature, but I do think that he's going to be a high batting average guy. The difference being, I think he's a better base runner and a better defender. Maybe not a 340 guy. Maybe not a 340 guy, but like 290, 300.
I'll fucking stand on 10 toes on that, dude. Yeah. Let's fucking go. I'll stand on that. That's on business, dude.
I mean, look at how good Hung-Ju Lee has been for the Giants this year. After one season, he's taken a step forward. I could see this guy really being the second baseman of the future.
Yeah, man. I think he's got a lot of tools showing off early. He made a great play in center field after kind of taking like what might have been a bad route, but made the play. So just the defensive versatility has been a hallmark of the Dodgers' game plan for the last decade now. So a guy like that is primarily an infielder we had hypothesized was probably going to get his opportunity first in the outfield, ball knowers. But he's making it, a worthwhile fucking venture, dude. I mean, I think what do we got him for 4 years, $12 million or something like that?
Oh no, we have him for 6 because he's on a rookie. He's a rookie contract.
Really?
He signed. I'll tell you his contract status. So hold on, Hye-Seong Kim contract. He is. Oh, sorry. He signed a 3-year deal, and then with a 2-year option for 28 and 29. I'm sorry, I was thinking about Rockie. Dude,
I thought you were thinking about Roki, and I was getting really
sorry
off that you were goofing with me, dude. I know.
12 million. I mean, it's honestly so it could reach 22 million over 5 years with bonuses and options and everything like that. Which I think that the Dodgers are going to look at this. This is like an amazing contract for them when you consider that he's probably going to be a starting second baseman in the coming seasons, because I do think Edman will likely move to center field, most likely. I see that being an option, or this will be a platoon player. But either way, to have a guy like this coming off the bench, I think
that's such a good weapon. Yeah, man.
You can deploy him at any. That's awesome. It's awesome to have.
Yeah, and to be honest, man, a lot of our bench has been a little less than effective recently. Not even just recently, but to this benchmark of this season.
Well, the people have been talking about Shohei because Shohei's there are comments online that Shohei has been a disappointment so far, that he's been overrated.
Yeah, dude, there's some real fucking ball knowers out there. Sorry, that's my big phrase for this episode. But a lot of big ball knowers out there saying that Shohei Ohtani's 2025 season has been overrated and that it is just mid, citing his low RBI totals. What was it going into the game?
17.
He was at 17 ribbies. Yeah, that's only on pace for a 47-47 season, as he's the first player in MLB this season to reach 10 home runs and 10 stolen bags. That was as of May 6th of Yahoo Sports. So
the 17 RBIs, like, I think it's so stupid for people to even like point to that as a criticism, because if they paid attention to this Dodger team at all this season, like at all, they would know that 6 through 9 has in the batting order has pretty much been the 69, baby. 6 through 9 has been.
No, dude, I was saying that Yin Yang Twins on. You're like,
but
oh no, not Yin Yang. I'm sorry, I'm stupid, dude.
6 through 9 has basically been non-existent, and
for like John to the East Side Boys, dude, I embarrassed my millennial self, dude. My bad.
Sorry, I didn't get that reference. I apologize.
Dude, you're not a dancer. You're not a ball knower. You're a hater, dude.
I am. But 6 through 9, let me get my fucking point across here, have been bad, Brandon. And remember, for like the first 20 games of the season, I think Pages was primarily in the 9 hole, and he was really bad to start the season. So Shohei was coming up constantly, like in the middle innings, or whenever he was coming up, nobody's on base. And so when nobody's on base, you don't get RBIs. And it's when you're a leadoff hitter who comes up and nobody's ever on base, there's no chance for you to get RBIs. What happens tonight? Rojas gets on first base with 2 outs, and Shohei hit an RBI double into the gap. That's what happens when people get on base in front of Shohei Ohtani. So it's really not that hard to figure out, guys. Like, anybody using that as like an argument, like, you just need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, do you really know ball?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Are you a ball knower or are you a fucking ball dummy, dude?
Ball shower, dude. Yeah, come on.
Freaking.
I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
But I'm vibing. I'm in a flow state, dude.
But yeah, he's on pace for a 47 homer, 47 stolen base season. Like,
it's just it's low IQ shit, and it's just like Shohei's trash because I like Aaron Judge more, or I like Bobby Witt more, or I like Tatis more. Look, I get it, but don't try and minimize somebody's fucking talent, you dweeb, because you don't like them winning championships with the Dodgers, baby.
Right. Hey, so we mentioned Kershaw. Just a quick little note on him before we move on, because we are running a little long today. Kershaw had a 6-inning no-hit rehab start the other day. They had to pull him, obviously, but 6 innings, no hits in his latest rehab start. So that's fun. It's good to hear that. I don't know. Do we know when he's supposed to come back? Like what?
Mid-May. I think May 15th.
Okay, so we're 1 week away from.
Wow, dude, look at that! Oh, I'm so fucking excited, dude. Still have nightmare trauma flashbacks from that 2023 playoffs.
Oh, come on! Don't worry. Just.
It's all good. It's all good. We're moving on. We're moving on. Jesse, you know what? Somebody's moving on from another position. Well, maybe not, dude. My boy Rafael Devers.
Yeah. This is like my favorite story of the year. So
far. Dude, this has been really drama filled. Like, dude, there's been some tea to spill. Like, I don't know. I saw there's a guy on Instagram, TikTok. He's doing like baseball drama, but like it's drama between his friends, like tea for his girlfriend.
Yeah. I love those videos,
dude. It's so funny, but it's kind of crazy that when you see Devers' situation, like, oh no, this is just actually dramatic. Like, what is happening here?
So if you remember correctly, at the beginning of the season, the Red Sox at the last minute signed Alex Bregman to a 3-year deal, right? And obviously, we all know Bregman plays third base.
And having a great year.
Yeah, and he's having a very good year. And so is Devers, to his credit. He had a bad start, but he has turned it around. He's been much better lately. But Devers was upset about having to be a DH. He was venting to the media via his agent and his translator that he that I'm the third baseman of this team. Why should I have to move? I've been the third baseman of this franchise.
Yeah.
Didn't want to he didn't want to be a DH. So he was clearly already a little bit in his feelings about it to start the season, being a DH, and it clearly took him some time to get adjusted to it. And it seems like he's finally kind of gotten into the swing of things. Well, what happens? Tristan Casas blows his knee out, has a torn ACL, and so he's out for the year. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, I forgot what it
Watch
was.
it, dude. These are coming for you.
So he blows his knee out, right? And he is out for the year, right? He's done?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what does that mean? Well, Red Sox are down a first baseman now, and Rafael Devers seems like a pretty good option if you are if you're a logical, baseball thinking human being. If you're a ball knower, Rafael Devers going to first base seems like a pretty decent option. Well, he once again did not react well to being asked to move to first base. No. He had a comment that honestly blew me away, to be honest, because this is, remember, coming off of his teammate, going down for the year. He says, I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put my glove away. I wasn't going to play another position other than DH. Right now, I don't think it would be an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play a different position. And then he says, they told me that I'm a little hard-headed, but they already asked me to change positions once. This time, I don't think I can be as flexible. I don't feel they stayed true to their word. They told me I was going to play this position, DH, and now they're going back on their word.
Jesus.
I mean, Brandon, who's at fault here? Is Devers being a little bit absurd, or does he have a point?
Well, first things first, I don't know if this is fake news. I don't speak Spanish like that, but I've heard that there are some bad translations going around, and maybe there is a little bit of that to account for. I'm not sure, but I'd like to think there's some benefit of the doubt for Rafi, but it does feel like he's in bad with management, our owners right now. I believe that the owners said that they had a meeting with Rafi, and it was, very, whatever. It was beneficial for both sides. But he feels like a guy that's disgruntled, right? Like, maybe that's not the right word. Maybe it is. But he looks pissed off. Sounds pissed off. Sounds frustrated. But, boy, is that the exact opposite of Mookie Betts, dude.
I want to say something about that. I want to remind everybody, Rafael Devers was given a 10-year, $315 million contract. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 years, $313.5 million contract. He is not being demoted. He is being asked to switch departments to help the company. This is not a demotion. You're still an integral part of the team, right? I want to remind everybody, Max Muncy needed to find a place to work on the Dodgers. He was basically told, you need to learn how to play third base or we don't have a spot for you. He learned how to play third base. He's been a serviceable third baseman, not a great one, a serviceable one. He made the necessary sacrifices. Mookie Betts wanted to make take it easy on his body. He felt like right field was too demanding, so he made a move to second base. Then the Dodgers shortstop Gavin Lux blows out his knee in 2024. Sorry, 2023. Okay, I have my timelines mixed up here. But then in 2024,
2022, he came back in 23. Yeah.
2024 comes around. And Gavin Lux has the yips. He cannot throw it to first base. They have to move him over to second base, and they ask Mookie to play shortstop. And this is, without a spring training of playing shortstop or anything. So he takes on that role. He bounces around a lot, but he takes on that role. This is a guy who's already earned his money, who could go into the Hall of Fame right now as one of the greatest right fielders to ever do it. He was willing to play second base. He was willing to play shortstop. Max Muncy's playing third base, second base. There's talk about Will Smith potentially moving to third base. These are all guys that have gotten their money. And Rafael Devers is acting like he's above all of this. And I understand that there's frustration here, but it really does sound like a pouty diva is not getting his way right now. That's really what this comes off like to me. And I'm not saying the Red Sox are perfect here, that they don't have any blood on their hands in this, but you've already gotten your money, dude. This isn't going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. This is what the team needs, and you're making this about yourself.
Yeah, man. I've been really pissed off at an employer before, and I've openly talked some not shit, but corporate sass. You speak the lingo, and I don't know, and that's what it feels like he's doing. And I don't think it's appropriate for them to ask me to do this. But like I said, man, it seems like a guy that is maybe a little bit threatened by the arrival of Bregman. Maybe he doesn't feel like so much of his team anymore. I don't know. But, this is all stuff that shouldn't be an issue at all. Really, it shouldn't be. You should be like, how do I help out the team? But I'll just leave it at, people feel big feelings sometimes. And
but, think of how many starting pitchers, had to become closers, relievers. How many, Joey Gallo is literally trying to stay in the league right now by learning how to become a pitcher. I know that it's a little bit different, but when you're a guy that has gotten money, it is, I think, my perspective, it's incumbent upon you to set an example for the players that come next. And if you want to be a player on a good team, you have to set an example that, hey, you have to make sacrifices to do what's right for the team. And if your highest paid player isn't willing to do it, then nobody should be willing to do it. You know what I mean? You're just setting a bad example, dude.
It definitely hurts your work culture a bunch. And like you said, if your highest paid guy won't do it, why should I? It is a little egocentric, and I don't like it. But
he's very good, but he's acting like somebody who's a lot better than he really is.
I think that's fair. I don't know. Maybe he just really wants a trade, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just talk shit. I want to go play with Mookie."
He might want to trade, and I saw Jake from John Boy throwing out the Phillies because they want to get rid of Alec Boehm. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I thought that was interesting.
I think that's super interesting. I would love to see that. But lastly, dude, I think the last little thing I'll put on it. I've never been paid $315 million to work for somebody, and just know, what are you going to do, dude? You can't fucking fire me. That money's guaranteed. So I'm going to just say how I feel. So maybe there's a little bit of that fuck it in him too,
Sure. I mean, I think it's fair to be critical. I just think it's, I think it comes off. It looks worse than I think he realizes. You know what I mean? I don't think he realizes how bad the optics are. But speaking of bad optics, we are going to rush through these. But the Pirates just fired their coach, Derek Shelton.
Dude, what a bad year for the Pirates. Yeah, it's almost like their ownership is dog shit or something.
Well, they clearly were expecting them to be a more competitive team, because otherwise they wouldn't have fired Derek Shelton. 12-26 start, and they the front office must have thought that this was going to be a more competitive team, which I could understand. But when you lose Jared Jones, one of your best starting pitchers. I think at a certain point they have to look inward in terms of the investments that they've made into that team, in terms of player development stuff. Because Ke'Bryan Hayes is still not becoming a stud the way that we thought he was going to. The biggest you mentioned bad ownership. The biggest free agency signing that they have made has been Andrew McCutchen for the fifth straight year. So they're clearly not investing in it, but they have this just absolute unicorn in Paul Skenes, who is, probably the best pitcher in baseball. I think we'd probably agree on that. I haven't looked at his numbers, but he's off to a good start again. But he was asked about it, and he basically, he kind of implied, but this is what happens when you're not playing well. Somebody has to be the scapegoat, and it's going to be the coach. But I think part of what he was saying is I do feel like I read between the lines, I think he wants to take a shot at ownership, but he just doesn't feel comfortable with doing it yet, because he hasn't made his money. He just doesn't feel comfortable with it. I don't know if you read into that the same way I did.
I definitely did. I'm just kind of looking at the years end over end at the records. Mr. Shelton's tenure with the Pirates. 2020 was his first year. He went 19-41 in the shortened season, 61-101, 62-100, 76-86, both 23 and 24. And this year he was let go as they are at 12-26.
Yeah.
Jeff, the reason why I'm pointing those out is that it's been tough sailing since, since Clint Hurdle was coaching them back in 2015 when they lost in the NL wild card. But that was the last time they had a winning record, dude. And that was 98-64. That was a good team. That was a good record.
But, I want to go back to the Skenes quote here because he says just somebody has to be held accountable. He knows it's not him.
Definitely.
He knows it's not him. He's
Definitely.
doing his job. He's got a 2.7 ERA. He's got a sub-1 whip. He's doing his part. He can't throw shade at the players because those are his teammates. But basically, I think kind of what I'm taking from it is like somebody has to be held accountable, so we're going to fire the coach. I'm not saying that he disagreed with the decision, but it does feel like he's clearly a frustrated star who's looking around at the landscape of his team and he's saying like, hey, like, okay, somebody has to be held accountable, so yeah, we have to fire the coach, but like this, I don't think that this team is good enough to do anything anyway. I think Paul Skenes is smart enough to know like this team, these guys aren't good enough. I'm not on a quality team, and I think that ownership is obviously to blame for not investing in free agents. But apparently, this owner is like notoriously fucking cheap to the point that he doesn't even invest in like facility upgrades. He doesn't invest in just bringing in better player development people, bringing in better pitching people. Like if I were one of those guys that's afraid to put money onto the luxury tax or on to increase payroll, then I would put all my money into like things that don't affect payroll, like facilities, your coaches, your coaching staff, all that stuff. And it just seems like they don't want to do it.
Well, Jess, just to get us to the end of the app too, I think it leads me to my like kind of final point for today's app. The biggest problem facing the MLB right now is bad ownership. Talking about bad optics, like what have the Pirates done this year? They fired their owner. They failed to support their rising star in Paul Skenes, as well as others, O'Neill Cruz and such. They have a fan that was in critical condition after tragically falling over the railing in right field. Most noticeably before even this firing, just this past weekend, there was a fight between a stadium worker and a fan who appears to be antagonizing the worker. It leads with the worker apparently defending himself and the fan following around spitting blood at him. The guy takes off his belt and smacks the shit out of this dude in the face. I mean, it's crazy that this is going on for so long and people are just filming it and there's no security to break it up. So, like, that was a long way for me to just kind of point out what you were saying. Like, the ancillary services in a stadium aren't even being maintained in terms of security and safety. Dude, if that doesn't ring true to Dodger fans, it's very McCourt era. Spending all your money on other ventures. A
guy is literally in critical condition. He just fell over the fucking railing, by the way.
They offered this kid who got the Paul Skenes card, like this joke of an experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. It seems like it's just this one foot and mouth scenario after another for these ownerships that are multi-billionaires. Don't let them fucking tell you otherwise. But Jess, to your point, I was listening to a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on with the Angels and why they're so dog shit. And what some former players have mentioned is that there's a lack of information that other teams provide, right? Yeah. Like there's analytics and deeper scouting and, even like player development scouting that like help X, Y, and Z player get better that isn't there, for like team. They were talking about the Angels, but it's pretty obvious you can replace Angels with Pirates, or you can replace that with, I don't fucking know, the Colorado Rockies, or any one of these floundering teams that seem incapable of getting out of their own way. You go, I've got this little profit margin that I need to maintain above all costs, and I refuse to put in $1 of my own money to, give a better experience and potentially, up my brand and create new fans and grow my customer base, thus earning more future dollars. But no, it's all about upside. It's all about tax breaks. It's all about hiding money wherever and using it for whatever. I don't know. But it just seems like a big fucking nasty scheme, and these dickhead billionaires don't mind ripping the heart and soul out of a community, out of Oakland to West Sacramento, just to fucking not sell any tickets there too.
And I think that Skenes is starting to catch on to this with the Pirates. It just seems like there's been too many just small things that stand out to me, and I'm curious to put a bow on all of this to end the episode. It's this Pirate situation has already opened up the door to the conversation of how long Paul Skenes will stay a Pittsburgh Pirate. I saw some Dodger accounts, putting him in a Dodger uniform, the little fan fiction. How soon is it, in your opinion, how soon until we start hearing the Paul Skenes trade rumors, Paul Skenes asking out of town, forcing a trade out of Pittsburgh? How soon until we start to hear those?
Realistically, I think you might start hearing some rumbles around this trade deadline, but I don't think it'll happen for another 2 years. Maybe not 2 full seasons, but it will be 1 full season after this before I think there's any real fire to that smoke, if that makes sense. Smoke to that fire. You get what I'm going for.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
But Jess, I think that there will be a Paul Skenes trade before the A's break ground on their stadium.
Yeah, I think that you might be right about that. I mean, as of right now, Paul Skenes is in year 2. He's in pre-arbitration next year and in 2027. So I do think you're right. I think once we get past the pre-arbitration point, once he goes into arbitration in the final 2 years of his rookie deal, I think that's when it really starts to heat up, because we know that's when the Pirates are going to have to start paying him, $20 million a year in arbitration. They're not going to want to fucking do that. We already know the answer to this, and so I think there's a chance, as a hot take, that we're going to start hearing about it in the offseason. Maybe not this year, but we're going to start hearing about it in the offseason. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that we're going to start hearing how much would you give up right now for 4 years control of Paul Skenes? How much would you give up? Those conversations are going to start happening, and I do think that the Dodgers will 100% be in on the Paul Skenes sweepstakes when they do happen.
Dude.
My question to you is, there are a lot of people who seem to believe that the Dodgers will get Paul Skenes one day. Do you think it happens?
Man, do I think it happens? Do I think they're able to pull off a trade for Paul Skenes? No, I don't, because I think the Padres are willing to give anything that's not Fernando Tatis in exchange.
I think Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, Padres. Diamondbacks just tied it with the grand slam. It's 8-8.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Roki. He didn't give it up, but
Bonda gave it up, dude.
Fuck, dude.
Bonda's looking tough, dude. This is another big homer for him.
Let's end it
look
there.
At these snakes, dude. It's going to be a fight in this NL West all year, Jesse.
It is.
But hey, on that note, friends and family, it's the future. Boy, wasn't the end of that Dodger game crazy? I'm glad that Deferred
Yeah.
Collusion got me through it.
First
and
ever
I'm
8-8
surprised.
tie in Major League Baseball. 8-8 tie.
Crazy,
Stop recording,
crazy,
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Jesse, this has been a fun episode, dude. It was great to get to talk ball with you. Sorry, everybody that made it this far for not getting an app to you earlier this week.
Yep.
But we figured start your weekend off right, huh?
Absolutely. Let us know if Saturdays are good days to record. I feel like a lot of our videos have performed well on Saturdays. So if that's a good day, we're trying to figure this out, guys. But please share it with your Dodger friends. Share it with your baseball friends because we want to. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and we want to get there soon. And we can keep bringing this content to you guys. But
Heck yeah, dude. We've been a little inconsistent, and the algo has been killing us because we haven't been pumping content.
We fucked it up a little bit, but we're not going to fuck it up anymore. We're coming for you. And this was a fun one, Brando.
That's more like the Home Depot thing, but whatever. Anyways, Jess.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Jesse Rowe, myself, Brandon Mullinger, Deferred Collusion. We
Figure
are
it out,
out
Roki.
of here.
Figure it out, Roki. Let's go.